Magical Taruruto-Kun is the rarest of all games. An actually good Famicom game from Bandai and Tose. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that the Taruruto-Kun games are the best things that they made for the system. And when you consider that Bandai published 46 Famicom games, and most of those were developed by Tose, that gives them a really low hit percentage. Magical Taruruto was one of the weirdly high number of cartoons and comics from the late 80s about a magical being who pops into modern-day Japan and then hangs around with a kid there using his magical abilities to get them into mischief. There were a lot of Magical Taruruto-Kun games released in a 2-year period, and most of them are surprisingly good. The Famicom game is a platformer consisting of 8 worlds and around 60 stages. You don't have to play every single one of them, but it does help. There's some useful items hidden behind optional stages in the game, and you're going to want them. Between stages, you've got this Super Mario Bros. 3 style map, and on the stages themselves, you're controlling Taruruto-Kun, a magical guy with a giant tongue and an enormous appetite for takoyaki. You press B to extend Taruruto-Kun's tongue, and if you're on the ground, you can extend it in any cardinal direction. In the air, you're just restricted to left and right. Use the tongue to attack enemies and slurp up takoyaki. Takoyaki is the game's currency, and there's also special items hidden behind some of them. A ball might give you 10 takoyaki balls, or it could make you invincible, give you a credit to use in a bonus stage, or grant you an extra life. At the end of the stage, you'll find 3 takoyaki in a group, and one of those 3 will have the stage exit, one will have an extra life, and one will be 10 takoyaki. Which one is which is totally randomized. Any contact with the enemy or a bullet is fatal to Taruruto-Kun, and there aren't any checkpoints in the stages. Bump into something at the end, and you gotta do the whole thing all over again. That makes this game a bit difficult. They throw a ton of extra lives at you, and you can easily purchase more, but beating stages, even in the first half of the game, can be pretty tough. But you do have some tools that you can use. The catch is, you have to buy them. At the end of every level, you wind up in a shop, where you're offered a rotating handful of items to purchase. You can always buy extra lives, backpacks, and save points, but the other items offered for sale change. To use these items, you have to select them before you begin the stage. You can pick up to 4 of them, but they're only equipped for that attempt. Complete the stage, or die, and the effects end. So what can you use? Well, there's the orb, which gives you a hint for the upcoming stage. It doesn't count toward your item limit, but it's pretty useless. The goggles let you see invisible takoyaki. Without the goggles, they're just not there at all, but with them there's a lot more to slurp up. The shoes make you walk faster, jump higher, and on the ice stages, you don't slide on ice. The ice stages were one world past where I had to stop. The spiral thingy makes you swim faster in water, and there are a lot of water stages in World 2. Juice lets you begin the stage with an invincibility. It lasts just as long as the regular invincibility power-up, so you might be able to get 3 or 4 screens before you run out. The frog is especially powerful because it lets you take 1 hit before you die. There's also 2 items that can't be purchased but have to be won from a bonus game. Wings that will let you fly through a stage, and french fries that will let you teleport to the end of the stage immediately. From the map screen, you can hit select, and that'll give you the opportunity to save your game to the battery backup. This uses up one of your items though. But there's even more power-ups. Hidden in out-of-the-way places in the worlds are orbs that grant you a super ability. To use these on a stage, you have to hit select, and then choose what orb you'd like to use. This uses up one of your backpacks. The first orb you find automatically attracts the takoyaki on the screen to you, but you're frozen in place until it gets to your mouth. There are a few kinds of bonus games in Magical Taruruto-Kun. After you're done shopping, you're given the opportunity to play some scratch-off tickets. If you choose to skip over this, you still have them. Find 3 of the same symbol to win. These scratch-off tickets are the only way to get the wings and french fries items. The balloon will take you to a bonus game, where first the board is shuffled, and then you get to pick a few random faces, and 3 in a row grants you some extra lives. Finally, the Takoyaki stand will just launch some takoyaki up into the air, and if Taruruto-Kun manages to snatch all of them, you get an extra life. An odd feature hidden on the cartridge is an encyclopedia. If for some reason you haven't been reading the comic or watching the cartoon, it'll fill you in on everyone's backstory. Naturally, there are bosses in Magical Taruruto-Kun, and the difficulty from them mainly comes from their erratic movement. It only takes 3 hits to knock them out, but how far they move and how quickly they recover is a bit random, so it's easy to be caught off guard. Although Magical Taruruto-Kun resembles Super Mario Bros. 3, the stage layouts are closer to Super Mario Bros. 1. They're very linear, and there's a whole lot of repeating geometry. You're going to recognize the same pieces of terrain over and over again. I have to mention the thing that Japanese players remember the most about this game, and that's the nudity. On the intro screen to World 2, if you let the game sit there for about 2 minutes, you get this picture of a woman in a bikini. And then if you mash the button about 150 times, she loses all of her clothes. Even though that seems to come up every place that people talk about this game, I do think that Japanese players liked this game for more reasons than that. It's a fun, snappy platformer, and it had a lot of things that people recognized from the show. Personally, I think this one's a pretty good game, but I like the sequel on the Famicom even better. So I guess that means Bandai and Tose made 2 good games together.